interesting to hear you have that conversation, because something that I'm a little bit more intentional about over the last, really couple years is making sure that my kids are understanding who they are and what they are and things of that nature. And I mean, even my 4-year-old, she's the cutest little thing, and she's half black, half white. And I forget how we got into this conversation the other day, but I was just telling her, well, it's because you're mixed. And she's like, I'm mixed? And I'm like, well, you're biracial because your daddy is black and your mommy is white. And she goes, oh, that makes sense, but when I think before then, I told her she was half black and half white, and she was like confused because she's like, which side is the black and which side is the white? And she would just look at her hands when she said that. So, I think it's important that at a young age, and I think that we grew up in an era, especially if you're around my age, I'll be 36 next month. If you're my age, we kind of grew up with this, do as I say, this is what you need to do because it's what I said to do it, not really having a whole lot of explanation and to anything in life. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at you, Cam, and you're saying like, I didn't really know. I kind of figured it out on my own, but really kind of, I guess I kind of figured out on my own that shielding children would not be the way, and I want my kids to know who they are, and what they are, and why they are, and then as they get older, we're going to continue to cultivate, understanding of, what the real history of our people is, the real history of this country is, and helping them. And then I'm going to be able to build from that to understanding how to build wealth and all these things. But it starts now at the young ages that they are, with just little baby steps by baby steps. I'm not about to give them a Dr. Humar speech when she's 4 years old, but
just making sure that she's not raised in a bubble, because it's going to give her a blurry vision of the world. It's not going to give her a realistic version.
Exactly.
But you'll be surprised how much they understand.
Okay, so the next question I asked Teresa is, what do you believe are some of the benefits of raising your child as a non-person of color? And she said, well, there's a ton, no clue where to start. Like, I probably can get a better rate for loans and live in a safe neighborhood. Hopefully I can use my whiteness to have my voice heard when his is ignored. And then she said, I know that's messed up, but that's the way society works. I'm reading.
Go ahead, Rich.
Is there a benefit to being raised white?
I think not being raised white, being raised by like a white person. So like her privilege benefiting her son's.
Does her privilege rub off on her son? Fuck no.
Well, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
if anything, to me personally, if anything, especially like her moving into a better neighborhood area, puts more of a target on them. They're trying to figure out why this black kid is walking around this white, nice neighborhood. Mm-hmm. If, from my personal experience, that's what they're gonna try to figure out. Or they're gonna be like, why is this black kid walking with this white woman? Like, what's going on? Especially as he gets older. As he becomes that teenager, that adult, where, he's walking with his mom, who's white. That police officer don't know that shit. And quite frankly, he don't give a fuck.
Or he's in town visiting from college and gets pulled over.
In her car. So he's driving her car to get an oil change. Dead ass. He takes her car to go get an oil change. Say she drives a nice Lexus, Benz, or whatever, right? The cop pulls him over, runs the plates. It's a white woman's name.
You stole the car.
You think the benefit's gonna rub off on him? No.
Car thief.
It's not at all. They don't give a fuck about what his mama look like. If anything, they're more upset that his mama's white.
I ain't got nothing else to add, Rich. Bro said what I was gonna say. She's looking at it from like the initial setup, but like that's still that false sense of security that, oh, it won't happen here. It's not like that here. No, it's like that everywhere.
Everywhere.
Versus comment. He just said the one that really gets me is when they say you don't act black. I had to correct a large sum of friends on that. I mean, yeah, I've been told I don't sound black.
Don't hate me, okay? I understand when people make that comment. Not saying that they're right when they make it. I understand when they make it because of the way that I grew up and in the environment in which I grew up in. There were certain things that, as a common
stereotypical portrayal of black culture,
that of what we did as a black culture, that's what we did, right? So if you didn't do what we did, then we'd say, oh, you're not really acting black, or you talk white, because we grew up with a slang or an ebonics that was common amongst each other, right? Now, again, I'm not saying that this is right and that people should do this. I'm just saying I understand where the question comes from. You know, when I went to high school, 2005, Katrina hit, right? New Orleans comes over to Houston. We didn't understand shit they were saying.
Oh no, we had some in Michigan, so you know.
But between themselves, they understood everything they were saying, right? So there were things that they did that they were like, man, you sure you black, bro? Because you don't do what we do over here. And then vice versa. You know, back then, me growing up, anime was not a black people thing. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It took me well out of high school to express the fact that I loved it, right? But this would be something they'd be like, bro, you sure you black? Because, like, you... Prime example. My car right now, if you guys have ever seen it, I drive a 2020 Honda Accord. It's wrapped in Dragon Ball Z, right? Do you know how many people are surprised that a black guy gets out of that car? And I'm talking about a black guy. 95%. A black guy. Bro, I was in Ohio. I was in Columbus. I'm in sweats, a chain, earrings, and a hat. I get out of a Dragon Ball Z car. They look completely baffled. Why?
I gotta jump in.
That's not what black people do.
I gotta jump in and say, y'all ever see that meme that say what happened when kids get grown folk money?
Oh, and I kind of wanted to approach like Nikki's. Well, she commented two different things. Actually, I didn't find out that I was technically black until I only met my dad once, and it was in 5th grade. I don't know what this mentality was, but I, for the longest time, thought my dad was white. Because I never saw any pictures of him, never saw nothing. The only first time I ever seen him was in person, in 5th grade. So at that point is when I kind of put two and two together. Well, of course, that it didn't really sink in, because at that point, I had already been told to just say that I'm tan prior to meeting him. So it's kind of like coming out of one mindset and into the other. And then I still had I knew in the back of my, and knew about like my teenage years that I was black, but still with the mentality of, stuck around the mentality of, oh, you have to say you're tan, or all these black men are scary, they're scaring me, whatever. So I kind of had to unfortunately shut that part of me down for a while until I actually got out of that situation.
I also wanted to say something about, sorry. Where she just talking about the sympathy part of it. I had seen a video where this woman had stated that she, has, I think, one biracial child, and she doesn't have any intention of raising her, biracial child any different than the other two. And another white woman was saying, and she was like, I'm sorry. And so the white woman was like, well, I'm going to give you back your sorry, because you're going to need that when your son experiences racism and prejudice and comes back home to you with these stories, and all you can say is, I'm sorry, because you never gave him the tools to set out into the world, or the knowledge that this is how it works.
Mm-hmm. Which is true. That's how it happens. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete. It doesn't matter if you're the mayor of a city. It doesn't matter
if you directed Black Panther.
It doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States. Like, it doesn't matter. To them, you're black. Period. Like, that's all that matters to them. Mm-hmm. So now we handle the situation like this, because they are black. Now, whether people want to say, well, they don't do that, yeah, okay, that's your perspective. I'm telling you from what I've seen.
Oh, and I actually had a funny. The thing is, I had actually there was a question a while ago that have I ever experienced like any type of anything regarding like